Ever wondered how bubblegum is made? Today, we're revealing its secrets, from synthetic marvels to fascinating factory processes. And did you know bubblegum is banned in Singapore? Stick around to find out why. Most bubblegum today is made with a synthetic gum base, specifically a rubbery material called polyisobutylene. This material revolutionized gum production, making it easier to produce, longer lasting, and more consistent in quality. Polyisobutylene is the same material used in inner tubes and adhesives, prized for its elasticity and durability. To create the gum base, polyisobutylene is mixed with various ingredients, like rubber, resins, and wax. This mixture is heated and melted down to form a thick syrupy base ready for the next steps in gum production. Next, we add a sweet twist to the story. What keeps your gum sweet and sticky? Let's find out. About 40% of bubblegum's weight is sugar, giving it that signature sweetness. But sugar alone isn't enough to create the perfect bubblegum. Corn syrup acts as the glue, holding the gum base and sugar together. This sticky mixture is then flavored with both natural and artificial flavorings, providing the distinct tastes of bubblegum, strawberry, grape, and watermelon. The process begins with mixing the gum base, sugar, and corn syrup in large vats. The mixture is heated and stirred until it reaches a smooth, homogeneous consistency. Once the base mixture is ready, it's time to add the flavorings. Natural and artificial flavors are carefully blended into the gum base to create the iconic bubblegum taste. Popular flavors include classic pink bubblegum, as well as variations like mint, cinnamon, and fruity combinations. Flavoring gum is an art in itself. The flavors must be strong enough to be enjoyable, but not so overpowering that they mask the sweet, chewy goodness of the gum base. Once the flavorings are thoroughly mixed in, the gum is ready for the next step in its journey. Remember those sticky spots on the sidewalk? Let's uncover the surprising truth about gum pollution and why some places have it banned completely. Gum isn't just a tasty treat, it's also a sticky problem. Chewing gum is non-biodegradable, leading to environmental concerns. This sticky pollution has become such a problem that Singapore has banned gum in public spaces. The key ingredient, polyvinyl acetate, is a type of plastic used in making glue, plastic bags, and bottles, adding to the environmental challenge. In urban areas, discarded gum can be a major nuisance. It sticks to sidewalks, benches, and other surfaces, creating an unsightly and difficult-to-remove mess. Cleaning up gum litter is a costly and time-consuming task for many cities. In response to this issue, Singapore implemented a strict ban on the sale and importation of chewing gum in 1992. The ban aimed to reduce gum litter and maintain the cleanliness of public spaces. But we need to get back to business to see how this sweet treat is made. In the factory, the gum base is heated to around 240 degrees Fahrenheit until it melts into a thick, syrupy consistency. This syrupy base is then filled through fine mesh screens and a high-speed centrifuge to remove any unwanted dirt and bark from the gum base. While still hot, the gum base is placed into large mixers with slowly revolving blades, where flavoring ingredients like fine sugar, corn syrup, and softeners are added. Once the mixture is smooth, it is transferred onto cooling belts and blasted with air to bring down its temperature. Special machines called extruders create a sheet of evenly mixed mass at the right temperature for the next steps. The extruder has separate entry points for the ingredients along different zones in the barrel. This setup prevents backflow and avoids hot spots in the gum. Ever wondered how bubblegum gets its shiny coating? The secret is in the final steps. The cooled gum ropes are flattened and cut by specialized equipment. For stick gum, powdered sugar is sprinkled before cutting, and for candy gum, an undercoat is applied. This coating not only gives bubblegum a shiny appearance, but also increases its shelf life. The flattened gum is passed through a series of rollers to achieve the desired thickness. Each pair of rollers is set closer together from the previous pair, gradually reducing the thickness of the gum. Once the gum reaches the desired thickness, it is cut into the final shape. For stick gum, this means long, thin strips. For candy-coated gum, the pieces are shaped into small pellets or balls. After shaping, the gum is set aside to rest in a chilled room for at least 48 hours. This resting period allows the flavors to meld and the texture to stabilize. For candy-coated gum, an additional step is needed. The gum pieces are tumbled in large rotating drums where they receive a coating of sugar and coloring. This process, known as panning, gives the gum its shiny, colorful appearance. And before it reaches you, there's one last step. How do manufacturers ensure every piece is perfect? Every piece of bubblegum undergoes strict quality control. texture, elasticity, and flavor are carefully tested. The gum is then wrapped in wax paper or foil to keep it fresh. Finally, it's packaged in eye-catching designs to attract customers, especially kids. During the quality control process, manufacturers test samples from every batch to ensure consistency. They check for proper texture, ensuring the gum is neither too hard or too soft. The elasticity is tested to make sure the gum can stretch and form bubbles without breaking. Flavor tests ensure that the taste is up to standard. After passing quality control, the gum is ready for packaging. Modern packaging machines can wrap thousands of pieces of gum per minute, ensuring each piece is sealed in protective material to keep it fresh. The packaging is designed to be both functional and attractive, often featuring bright colors and fun designs to appeal to children and adults alike. Marshmallow. If these soft and flavory bubblegums remind you of fluffy marshmallows, and you're thinking about how they're made, then don't worry, because we're about to share that process too. Marshmallows have come a long way since their ancient Egyptian roots, where they were made with honey and marshmallow plant sap. Today, the process is much more exciting and flavorsome. When it comes to ingredients, some of the basic ones are exactly what you'd expect them to be. You have your sugar, corn syrup, modified cornstarch, and gelatin. You've probably heard of gelatin before, but if you don't know what it really is, then let me tell you that it's derived from collagen found in animal connective tissues like bones and skin. Gelatin binds everything together and gives marshmallows that irresistible squishiness. Plus, it's also what makes them last so long on your shelf, usually up to 24 months. Another interesting fact about gelatin is that by changing its quantity, you can make different candies from the same ingredient. Want to know how? You'll find out later in this video, so stay tuned. Besides gelatin, the whole process needs a lot of air. Without it, the marshmallows won't have the pillowy texture they're known for. The process begins with mixing sugar, corn syrup, and water, then heating it until it boils. As the mixture heats up, the sugar dissolves and everything blends together smoothly. If you're making marshmallows at home, it's important to keep stirring to prevent burning, and you'll need a thermometer to watch the temperature closely. Once the sugar mixture reaches around 240 degrees Fahrenheit, it's time to add the gelatin or other emulsifying agent that helps give marshmallows their fluffy texture. Depending on the type of emulsifier used, the mixture might need a bit more time to ensure everything has blended well with the sugar. Once blended and boiled, the concoction undergoes a vigorous whipping process. This isn't just for show. Whipping pumps in the air, causing the mixture to expand dramatically. Some types of marshmallows might also have some coloring or flavoring added, but for the most part, the ingredients are pretty simple. So, the next step is to give the desired shape to these sweet delights. In the past, this step was manually performed. But in the 1950s, an extrusion machine was invented, which squeezed the marshmallow mix through tubes with 200 pounds of pressure. It whips it up into these long, fluffy ropes that get chopped into perfect little pieces. They call it jet puffed, as it makes the process fast and reliable. Once they've cooled a bit, the marshmallow mixture is cut into the familiar bite-sized pieces that everyone knows and enjoys. The extruder nozzles are basically what give the shape of the marshmallows. Both twisted and non-shaped marshmallows can be prepared using these nozzles. However, for creamed and chocolate marshmallows, a different machine is used. Based on what I've seen, this machine is often referred as a depositor machine. It contains plastic molds and a servo motor that controls the whole manufacturing process. The molding units is the extruder and depositor form individual marshmallows and transfer them directly onto a conveyor belt or surface. That's why some manufacturers skip the rope or band method altogether. Instead, the mixture is directed into a molding unit, then onto a discharge unit, where the marshmallows are ejected for sorting and packaging. But no matter the approach, the outcome is always those delightful little marshmallow pillows that are just right for s'mores, baking, and munching on the go. Moving on to gummy candy. Did you know you can turn the fluffiness of marshmallows into a jelly-like consistency of gummy candies? Marshmallows and gummy candies are both made of gelatin, sugar, and corn syrup. The difference is the quantity of gelatin. Let's explore the gummy candies next. Ever wondered how gummy candy melts in your mouth? It's all thanks to gelatin's thermal reversibility. In simple terms, gelatin has a unique ability to become thinner as it absorbs heat, allowing it to dissolve quickly. In comparison to marshmallows, the quantity of gelatin added is much higher to get firm characteristics. Besides its air that makes marshmallows that fluffy, while in contrast, air is not deliberately added as an ingredient in gummy candies. Instead, their texture is solely dependent on the gelatin content and the specific processing steps used to cool and shape them. This results in gummy candies having a denser and more chewy texture compared to the airy and soft consistency of marshmallows. So, next, gelatin has to be met with flavors and colors, as it's tasteless and odorless itself. Generally, sucrose from sugarcane or fructose is added to give the candy its delicious taste. Corn syrup is also added to prevent sugar from crystallizing and to maintain the candy's volume and moisture. But gummy candy isn't just sweet, it's bursting with natural flavors sourced from fruits, berries, molasses, and maple sugar. These flavors are enhanced with aromatic chemicals to give each gummy its distinctive smell. To make them visually appealing, natural dyes like red dye number 40 and yellow dyes are used, giving manufacturers the flexibility to create candies in almost any color imaginable. To ensure the right texture, natural acids are added to control the pH of the gelatin. This step is crucial because gelatin texture depends on factors like temperature and pH. Once the ingredients are sorted, the candy-making process begins with compounding. Here, ingredients are mixed in large tanks equipped with heating and cooling capabilities. After thorough mixing and heating, the candy base is transferred to a Mogul Machine. The Mogul Machine uses starch as a modeling base to shape the candy. This machine has long been used to manufacture starch-molded products, including gummies. First, the tray is filled with starch. It has a flat base and vertical sides to hold the starch in place. The starch is leveled out below the top edge of the tray. I think they don't level the fillings with the edges of the tray because the vibrations and tray movements can make starch spill over the edges. Next, multiple cavities are created in the starch. These cavities are filled with a liquid candy mixture. The mixture is then allowed to dry and harden into candy shapes. Finally, the hardened candy is separated from the starch. Meanwhile, the gummy candy base, prepared earlier in the compounding process, is pumped into the trays through precise filling nozzles in the Mogul Machine. This step allows for multiple colors and flavors to be added simultaneously, making the production process more efficient. Once filled, the trays move to a stacking machine and are then transferred to a cooling room, where they sit for over 24 hours. This cooling period is crucial as it allows candies to set and achieve their desired texture and shape. Afterward, within the Mogul Machine, the trays are flipped upside down, causing the candies to drop onto a vibrating sieve. The sieve, along with brushes, removes any excess starch from the candies. The cleaned candies then proceed to other machines for additional decoration and packaging. In commercial settings, further steps may be taken to enhance the gummy candies. This can involve applying a thin layer of wax or polishing agents to give them a glossy appearance. Some candies might undergo a sugar or sour coating process to add extra feature and flavor. Once fully processed, the gummy candies are sorted automatically and undergo quality inspection and are packaged into various forms such as bags, boxes, and jars. As over 160 million gummy candies are made daily worldwide, the meticulous process must be followed by rigorous quality control methods. So, raw materials undergo thorough testing in the lab to assess their appearance, color, odor, and flavor profiles. Besides, each batch of finished candies undergoes detailed physical inspections. Quality control experts meticulously evaluate their appearance, flavor, texture, and aroma to maintain the highest quality taste and appearance. Jawbreakers. Okay, now you know gelatin goes in most of those jellies and soft candies. But what goes into Jawbreakers? Those giant hard balls so big you'd expect to see it on the baseball field, not in a candy store. Is it gelatin again? Or maybe some cement-like substance? You might be surprised to know that it can take as much as 2 to 3 weeks to make Jawbreakers. You must be curious to know the process. So, let's cover Jawbreakers now. The process starts with mixing synthetic rubber and powdered resin to form a base that won't stick to your teeth. Then thickener, preservative, and soy palm oil are added to get the right texture. After mixing it all up, they are steamed at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 4 hours. Once it is cooked and cooled, sugar, coloring, and flavoring are added. These ingredients are added later in this stage as they are delicate and can't handle the heat from earlier. Next, the mixture is then left for about a day to harden. Then it is chopped up and blended with corn syrup to make it softer and sweeter. After that, the gum mix goes into an extruder that shapes it into long ropes. Another machine cuts these ropes into tubes and then slices them into small segments. A mechanical arm guides the segments into a forming machine's tunnels. There, steel rolls cut through the tubes and shaped into balls. The size of these balls depend on the size of the Jawbreakers needed at the end. These segments then move to a cooling tunnel, where the air is blown through the holes. From there, the segments draw another forming machine that restores their round shape. Some Jawbreakers, however, have hard candy at their core. The machine used for these operates much like the presses used by pharmaceutical companies to make pills. I think both of them are pretty similar. It starts by feeding candied powder into molds that are then subjected to up to 5 tons of pressure to compress the powder into solid candy. Moving on to the remainder of the Jawbreaker production process, workers transfer the candy centers into what is called a coating pan. They pour into a heated mixture of water, corn syrup, and food coloring, along with dextrose and powdered sugar. The pan rotates for about 20 minutes while warm air circulates, coating the temperature with these ingredients. The next step is repeated 10 times to build up each layer. Now for the candy shell. They dump these centers into a coating pan where they're spun around and coated with layers of syrup. You can think of it as adding layers on the snowball. Each layer adds more flavor until they have about 13 layers in total. After each coating, they let it dry overnight. To finish them off, they speckle the Jawbreakers with different colors using a paintbrush dipped in sugar and food coloring. A final coating of beeswax gives them a shiny finish. And after about 3 weeks of all of this work, you get those giant Jawbreakers that are as big as softballs and packed with layers of flavor. You see, the process is time-consuming and quite challenging, but eating is quite a task too. Some lick them slowly, others hammer them, and some even break them into pillowcases. However you do it, these Jawbreakers are sure to give you a mouthful of sweetness and fun. So, here we are with the incredible manufacturing process of bubblegum and some of your favorite candies. If you enjoyed this sweet journey, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more delicious behind-the-scenes content.